Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Firefighters Chalkboard. Got Uncle Wayne on here today, and with me I have got Chief Gene Landers with me. Chief, how are you doing?
Doing good. It's been a long day.
Guys, for everybody that's tuning into this one, we started this thing at like 5 o'clock, and it is now 10, and we're finally getting to record because we have tried every cellular device and technical difficulty and let's see, concert, you name it, it has been in the middle of it. So we figured we'd just wait for everything to quit and we would try it over again. But so Chief, start off, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you got going on with your department.
Yeah. So my name's Chief Landers, of course, as Wayne introduced. We're from Orange Township up here in northeast Indiana. We're about 40 miles north of Fort Wayne. We serve roughly 3,900 citizens throughout the normal off-season months, and then we see up to 10,000 citizens on our multiple lakes that we have. We run an extremely rural department. We're into drafting fill sites. We have our turbo drafts. We have a large variety of things, and we rely on the tankers, and like I said, just very rural. And we just started staffing in 2024. We were 100% volunteer back in 2022 and 2023, all the way back to 1937, and we started to see some differences. So we stepped up. My administration, some of my board members, we had some stiff conversations. Really pleasant, nothing unpleasant, but it's become unpleasant for a lot of folks around us that we're starting to make those moves to rely on adequate coverage and persistent and continuous response times. And along with that, we've been hitting it pretty hard on training. I think we're already at 700 hours for the department. We only run 400 calls a year. I also work for a part-time gig over in, well, actually I'm not allowed to release that name, but just east of here, about 40 miles. And really, to be honest with you, they've been a significant help too with our organization and just getting us up on our feet and having a response time and collaborating and just doing what we're supposed to do. Go to work. So it's been real. It's been fun.
Well, good deal. And you've had a lot of changeover, growth, things like that in your department, so that gives you a perfect chance to start your new mentoring models and things you were wanting to do to try to do things differently, because like you said, in the last 2 years your administrative operations, everything else has kind of done like a 180, right?
Yeah, we're headed the opposite direction we were headed, that's for sure.
All right. And everybody that missed it, we had a good chuckle to start off with, because when Chief was describing his stuff, he said we got tenders, tankers, whatever you call them, and I went ahead and said that in to help out my buddy Andy, tenders go with honey mustard. Everything we talk about is tankers. But to be NIMS compliant, because we try to teach everything the right way, they say tankers have wings.
I guess.
Nah.
Well, that's one thing I won't call then as a tanker around here. Well, we have this neutral calling. It's called water shuttle.
That works.
It just makes everybody happy.
Yeah. Just as long as you don't get task force and strike teams mixed up, all that good stuff.
I'm gonna get my book out on you.
Yeah, nobody thought we was gonna throw an ICS 300 class in this thing, did they? It's sleep deprivation, guys. It'll be okay. So, talk about the changes you guys have had, because you've done some changes in your department. You have tried some new things. You were telling me, we might as well say we were pre-gaming earlier before everything locked up, but you guys have your daily basketball game, everything else that goes on. You got a lot of kind of neat stuff you're doing to try to build I wouldn't say, brotherhood, but the camaraderie and everything else in your department.
We call it normality.
There you go.
We're in a firehouse, right? We go to fires. So when we're not going to fires, we're in a house. And so we learn to get along with each other. We learn to love each other. We learn to care for each other. And I don't mean that in any derogatory frame. or mine. It's just we're just having genuine conversations with each other. We know each other's kids' names. We know each other's significant others' names. We know all their hard times. We know all their good times, and we know when they need help. We know when they don't need help. We know when to step back, and we know when to step in. And you were talking about the basketball game. A lot of people at this firehouse know that if they're sitting down while we're playing basketball, that may be perceived that they're not part of the team. And we have some folks that choose not to play basketball, but they choose to participate in a manner of watching, taking photos, cheering on, making comments, joking, because I'm known to get my ass kicked on the basketball court. So there's always some busting some chops when it comes to that. But that's 100% participation. Everybody's involved, and we do cookouts. We go out to dinner. I take the officers out at least once a month. I take care of them. I buy their beverages. We have conversations. We try not to talk fire whatsoever, but somehow out of the 6 of them, they slip it in. We all slam our drinks down because we're like, dang it. But I don't know, man. We're in a house, right? We go to fires, so the beds are made, and nobody's sleeping in them. We make sure that those are taken care of because we never know when somebody might need them, right? We have a men's room, a women's room, respectfully, showers, bathrooms, and so it's a home. And there may be a time where somebody might need to use that. So there's a lot of care here. And we value what we have, we value what we buy, and what we participate in. And so far, it's worked. We've had a few people tip off the scale, but we're not jumping off our side of the scale to go get them. And that's just the way it's been. And we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about each other and what's really necessarily needed here at the firehouse.
That's definitely something I can resonate with. And, we were talking earlier, and it was really good talking points, and I hate that we lost those. I'm going to try to recap on them so we can get them back up. It's all his fault. But one thing we had a really good conversation about was one of your posts you had put on social media. And it was talking about you can't teach people to communicate by yelling at them to be quiet. And we started off with that, and it went so much bigger. It went to just, from guiding people all the way up to instructing your young people. And I'd really love to dig back in on that.
Yeah. So, without going into too many details, and I told you earlier, when I started coming around the firehouse, I was adopted into it. My dad has been doing this for 40, I'm going to guess, just over 40 years. He's been a chief, Mom's been a chief, and here I am as a chief serving for my people. And I noticed as time went on, the way we handled things, the way we cared for people, I don't know if life got too busy and we just stopped focusing on our people more, but I've noticed that there was a trend that we were just letting people figure it out on their own. And I found out that if you can spend 5 minutes extra with someone that needs it, you may change the life of somebody else by just taking the 5 minutes, giving them a little extra cushion. And I don't mean coddle them. I mean give them something they need. I've got a lady on our department. She doesn't understand it sometimes. And she's new. I mean, she's just got through fire academy. She's through EMS training. And there's things where she's like, well, why does the hose bed have to be laid out just right? Why does it have to be dressed nice? And so, hey, come out here. Let me show you something. And now she's like, hey, new guy comes on. That's not going to be that way. And you carry that trait on and on and on and on, and it just continues on. And I lost that. Where I'm from, it just disappeared. We don't need to worry about that. That's not a big deal. Well, it's a big pain in the ass trying to pull a line off, and it's messed, right? So it is important, and taking an extra few minutes to just explain it, because you know how it is. It reminds me of my girls' softball team, my daughter's softball team. They love each other on the field. But as soon as they get home, this girl, that girl, this girl, that girl. And I always taught my daughter, she's 13 years old now, and I tell her, I said, if you don't like somebody and they absolutely pissed you off, go talk to them. Go have a conversation. If they don't understand something or you don't understand something, ask the question. You're missing out. And like I told you earlier, Wayne, I think we use 10% of our brain. And if we take an extra 5 minutes with somebody and start using the rest of it, the fire service would be dangerous. And my goal is to give people the extra energy, hoping it's not for me. Like I'm here to obviously take care of myself, but I want to pass it on, and I want people to carry on the energy so that there's more of an understanding of what it is that we're doing. And it just makes a big impact. There's a person on the side of the street. It's no different than the person on the firehouse. If you don't go see the person on the side of the street and you don't talk to him for a few minutes, maybe they just needed $1, right? Maybe, I don't know. But if you don't go talk to the person in the firehouse, maybe they just needed somebody to watch their kid because they've got something going on. And so that extra step, even in education, even in just common operations, even in day-to-day tasks, people walk past my office all the time, and I've got one guy, he's been here for 2 years, and he's from PA. Solid dude, I can't hear a word he says, but when he walks by the firehouse or by my office, I can tell if he's having a good day. And if he's not having a good day, he's in my office, he's on the couch, and we're shooting the shit. It could be educational, it could be promotional, it could be family-oriented, whatever it is. Take the extra time.
Well, that's important because, I'm sure never been in a chief role, but the only thing I can relate to it as is with being an instructor. And in an instructor role, we have to wear a lot of different hats. I'm sure fire chiefs have to wear a lot more hats than what an instructor does. But we have to be able to communicate, be able to let them know that there are people and not numbers. We actually truly do care about what's going on with them. What can we help them with? How can we help them develop and grow? That's super important. And I noticed that with the kids I'm dealing with, the more they feel that we are investing in them and they truly get that we're investing into it, the more they give us. I hear people all the time on social media and everywhere else, these kids, we were those kids one time.
Yes.
And the old salts were saying the same thing about us.
Amen.
But I truly think, I think our generation maybe had more of a call for public service in community, wanting to help community? I think so, just from what I see, but not to knock our newer people down, but what I see in them is more of a drive to have approval by their peers. They truly want, and they're not looking for a trophy. They're not the every kid gets a trophy thing, but most of them truly, they thrive from praise, and they learn so much whenever they know they're not measuring up, and they will beat themselves up and try to work harder. But that's a really fine line and balancing act, because if you you need to let them know when they screw up. You got to let them know when they're not measuring up.
And you got to let them know when you screw up.
Exactly. I'm just as human as they are.
Right.
But what I was trying to get at was maybe we've got to be careful with how much I'm not going to say push, but how much we say, hey, you're not measuring up. Find the praises in the middle of it. There's always something positive that happens even in a screw up. Something positive is there. And for us to try to really find that balance.
Yeah. We do a thing after every call. I'm not going to say every call. I shouldn't say that. But usually when it comes to, when there's a lot of work put in, a lot of effort put in, we'll get our stuff put together. We wrap up stuff, and it's time to hot wash. You call it hot wash, tailboard talk, whatever you want to call it. But we do it up at the whiteboard. It's by a bench. We all sit on a bench that a guy that quit made. It's pretty cool. So we always ask, what did you learn? And we just go around the circle, and if there's 20 dudes, 20 chicks, whatever it is, firefighters standing in a circle, we talk about, hey, what's one thing you learned? And then I always start off by, let me tell you where I made a mistake tonight, guys. And then I explain myself. And I found that they are more willing to be a little bit more respectful when somebody else makes a mistake.
Yeah. And going on with that, one of my big key things I always talk about is the concept of when I was a kid coming into fire service. I heard it so many times, God give me 2 ears and 1 mouth. I need to shut my mouth and open my ears. And the older I get and the more I realize that was an important truth when you're learning. But it's just as true when we become senior personnel, because especially dealing with our newer generation, because where I was hesitant to say what I was struggling in because I didn't want somebody to think poorly of me because I thought I wasn't measuring up or I was struggling with something, our younger kids don't have a problem telling us, I need help with this. I want to be here, so I need you to help me get here. This is the struggles I have. This is how I learn the best. They don't have a problem giving that information for you to help them be successful. I think that's huge.
Yeah. I remember growing up, my dad said you were to be seen, not heard.
Yeah. Be quiet, adults are talking. I heard that one a lot too.
And then when I'm figuring people out, and my dad's still trying to figure it out, I'm like, I gave up on your phrase, Dad. I'm talking. I want to hear people, and I want to talk to people.
So, let's jump into your little project you've had going on for a while. Let's talk about Bitter to Brass.
Mm-hmm.
Let everybody know what's going on with that.
Yeah, so I've been really sticking with one phrase. It's Bitter to Brass, Conversations with Purpose. And it's really just taking a moment and having a conversation with somebody you normally don't have conversations with. Whether that's somebody you don't like, whether that's somebody you love, whether that's somebody that's ringing up the peanuts and the gasoline and the cigarettes at the gas station, or somebody working at the Dollar General, or a town councilman, or a township board member. Have a conversation with them. Talk to them, your people, your community. Somebody on the side of the road, they're talking. Have a conversation with them. Entertain them with the idea of what the fire service is about and what it does. Because there is a misconception all the way across the board in life, in the fire service, and your children. We all know that. Just earlier, you and I talking before I messed everything up, you made a statement, and I made a comment about Chiefs ought to get out of the rig and go to work. But anyways, having a conversation just like that tonight, I was able to kind of have a little bit of a better understanding of where it was coming from. I deal with all kinds of people, and it's just best to talk to people. And I noticed in the time that I've grown up in the fire service, and I've seen my father and I've seen my mother be that administrative chief position, I've seen some of the conversations they failed to have. And I've seen a lot of people leave because the conversations weren't had. I've seen a lot of people leave because the people who left, didn't have the conversation. And so we don't get a better understanding of each other, nor do we get an understanding of the job, or the training, or the concerns that we just kind of brush off our shoulders. And so the Bitter to Brass is mainly focused on having conversations with government officials, having conversations with the community. My biggest thing is if you if you change the mindset of the community, you'll change the mindset of the firefighter. When the community has more of an understanding of what's required and what's expected, then so does the firefighter, and so does the chief, so does the officer. And if we can do that, there'll be no question when it comes time to finances. This is important. Now let's figure out what's acceptable when it comes to funding a public safety. And it's been in the wash for many years. Is it important? Is it not? And so the Bitter to Brass is my story, how I was growing up in the fire service and seeing the goods, the bads, the unevens, and turning it into what I am today by somebody having a conversation with me. I accepted this role by that, just a conversation.
You brought up an interesting topic about bringing the community into it and understanding and stuff, and curiosity struck me. How does that help your CRR program? Does it get more buy-in to your CRR since you're already building a relationship with the community and stuff? I was just curious. I was figuring if they were getting into the nuts and bolts and the workings of the fire department and everything else, I figured it might be easier to kind of get some CRR stuff rolling.
So, are you talking about recruit and retention?
Nope.
Run it by me again.
Risk reduction.
Oh, okay. So, you said CRR.
Yeah, community risk reduction.
So
I'm sorry, it's, yeah, or us and our acronyms. There's 100 different
it's
ways.
okay.
On it.
No, it's okay. So, I like that you brought that point up. So we work directly with the American Red Cross. We work directly with people who talk to us. So here's an example. I think it was my third week, and I showed up to this apartment complex. We had a fire. We went in, we did our job, and the manager's just like rude, because I was different, right? I wasn't the normal person. I wasn't the chief, and the firemen were different. Their behaviors were different. We did our job, and I wasn't able to give her enough information. And over the last 3 years, her and I are probably the biggest advocates for each other when it comes to safety at her complex. She's got 100 apartment units. She's got half of them senior citizens. She's got the rest of them are younger folks. Some are disabled. And we've taken the fires, the situations that we've had, and just by having a conversation. She was mad at me. I went down a week later. I didn't want to do it. But I walked in and I said, hey, I think we need to restart, and I want to apologize for being so brash with you and so different and not catering to your questions. And she just looked at me like, oh, well, that's different in the community. You're down here apologizing for essentially a misunderstanding. And so the next fire we had there was a little bit easier. And we had fire blankets, we had smoke detectors, appropriate smoke detectors. But as far as community-wide, yes, we have seen... Wayne, they used to call the fire chief's cell phone. Hey, my house is on fire. Well, you need to call 911. So it's definitely turned 180, like you said earlier, and we're just now getting into the fire extinguisher inspections. That's been a new thing for the part-time crew. They keep track of that, and everything we're doing right now is all new to us. Like as it's building, and it's like, oh, hey, we, people are coming at us from different angles. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it is something that we need to get moving. Financially, we just don't have the base for it to start an inspector or, well, nonetheless. Yes, to answer your question, we've seen a significant uptick in just having conversations with people. And my firefighters are from every aspect of life. And so we've got people who have had a rough time or have done prison time or have built millions, business owners, entrepreneurs, all kinds of sorts of life that just come in and interact with us on a nonstop basis. We're treating everybody the same way. We're all people, right?
Yeah.
But yes, I'm glad you asked that question, because I do need to get a program going together to continue it on, or we're gonna be caught with our shoes tied together.
So now with your everything changing, you're growing the way you're doing. Versus, because like you said, you grew up in that fire department. You've seen the way things had and everything.
Well, not this one.
Not that department, but throughout.
Yeah. Yes.
In the fire service. So, what are you looking to do differently with your new people, your mentorship, how they're groomed, things like that?
So, unfortunately, I grew up in a firehouse that you had to be special forces to go to class. All right. If you were do-it forces, you didn't belong. And I don't know really why or what, and I told you earlier I kind of have my own opinions of it, but I get into that into my bitter to brass presentation. Everyone here has to have, I'm just going to tell you what they have to have. They have to have firefighter 1 and 2. They have to have hazmat ops and awareness. They have to have EMR. Within a year or two, I have them in strategy and tactics. I've just got about 8 of them just got instructor 1. So 50% of the roster all has instructor 1. And and then they're all headed to Fire Officer 1. And somebody asked me today, why are you doing that? And I said, well, what if I'm not here? What if Johnny's not here? What if Billy's not here? Well, Eddie and Mikey need to figure it out too. And how dare we put the community in a position because we want control? I want my firemen, when they respond, I want them to think not like me, not just like me, but I want them to be responsible, and I want them to make brass decisions.
I can give you another one that would probably strike a little bit of a conversation with our department. We have a heavy course load for our recruit class, more so than some others. And the comments have been made before, why are you investing so much and so deep in classes with everybody? And I understand it's a legitimate question for a recruit school. And they say, you giving them all these classes, so why would you do all that and them have a chance to leave and go somewhere else with all that training? Because everything we do is IFSAC. And one of my bosses, I'm not going to claim this answer, it's 100% his, but it was so tactful and laid out, and it says, what if we don't and they stay?
Yes.
I think it's that simple.
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to roll the dice no matter what, but either we give them all this training and roll the dice on whether we can keep them or not.
Yep.
Or if we not water it down, but if we lower the class load, what if they stay? And we had the chance at one time to go ahead and give them that good foundation of learning on different disciplines, different levels, and everything else. That's kind of the same thing you're looking at. I mean, going ahead and getting people in Instructor 1, getting them lined up, because when I was a driver operator, I was getting everything ready for my officer level classes, stuff like that, and I wasn't planning to promote. Nowhere near when I was driving. And my whole thought is I wanted to be inside the head of my boss. That lieutenant I was driving for, I wanted to learn to think like him. Or if I didn't think like him, I wanted to be able to understand why he's thinking and why he's making the decisions he is. So, one, I can be ready for him and kind of read what he's doing so I can start getting my gears rolling when he's calling for the next thing. I'm kind of ready for it. But two, if I can understand it, I can duplicate it.
Yeah.
And everybody knows a lot of times the engineer is going to be the one that rides up and moves over for a lot of places. So why not condition yourself to that? On the flip side, it's the job of that officer in that right bucket up there to, start grooming that person, mentoring that person to be able to do the job. No different than you as a chief officer, groom your deputy. That way, if you want to take a vacation, hey, I'm not worried about anything. I know everything's going to be fine. What's your thoughts?
Well, my time at the public safety realms is coming to an end. I'm very excited about it, really. And I'm guessing, I'm anticipating within the next couple years, if not 3.5, 4 years, I'm waiting on my daughter to hit her junior year of high school. And then I got 3 more after that. So, Wayne, I've spent my entire life in a firehouse and 35 years around lights and sirens and bickering and laughs and giggles and chuckles and some badass training. And I'm not asking anybody to feel bad for me, but it is time, and there comes a time where the next guy and the next people, I wasn't the next one. I stepped into it, right? Like there wasn't this book that said, all right, Chief Landers, he's next. It's his time. But everything that I did was preparing for that, having those conversations, asking those questions, watching. Wayne, I never went to a pump ops class. Never went to. And again, I'm not entitled. I'm enlightened. We went. This is bizarre. It was a volunteer job. nobody was there to drive the truck. Dude, we had to used to stand up in front of the garage doors and pick who's going. It's disastrous. There's just three of us. Jump in the rig, we respond to this silo fire, and I'm running the pump. We're just engineering the hell out of it. After the call was over, my dad comes up to me and he says, when were you cleared on the truck? Are you sure you know what you're doing?
I just finished pumping the fire.
The whole scene. And he's like, who taught you how to do that? I've been watching this my entire childhood. And never once did you tell me to pull this lever. Never once did you tell me to open the front intake. Never once. I watched. And then as I got older, I started asking questions. And I'm trying to... So what my father didn't do, and I'm not talking bad about my father because my father is an amazing individual, but he didn't take the extra time. He thought that you're told once, you should figure it out, but then he wasn't doing anything to reimburse the next... How do I word this? He wasn't doing anything to allow that person to show... We're talking about today, they want to be propped up, they want to be valued, they want to know when they're doing well. My dad's not known to do that, but there's a lot of people like my father. So I have taken that energy that I've missed from my dad and from other significant people, and I'm trying to vomit all my wishes that I was having in the fire service. Like I wish Chief Martz, he'd take a little extra time and talk with me, or he'd show me a little bit of this, he'd show me a little bit of that. So I'm doing that with everybody. Everybody here knows how to drive every single apparatus. Everybody here knows how to draft out of every single apparatus. I mean, you go across the nation and ask anybody, who knows how to use the SCBA Cascade system? And there's probably going to be a few people that raise their hand. Because it's not taught. It doesn't seem to be a priority. But all 23 people on my roster, they know how to do it. And not necessarily to create a... you'd think I have post-trauma disorder here with my career growing up in the fire service, but you had to be special to run the Cascade system, right? Like, you had to have a mustache and just had to have carpet
welcome to
knuckles
1990.
Yeah. And so I just make sure everybody gets as much as they can. And if it's going to a department 8 miles north to the burn chambers, go get it. Go have it. Go learn as much as you possibly can. I can't do it all. My deputy chief, he's, like I said, I think 65% of our rosters, Instructor 1. Most of them have fire officer strategy and tactics. So they're constantly learning from each other. They're constantly teaching at the fire academy. It's just we've got something good going on, Wayne. And I cannot say that it's me, because I came here and I pushed my finger a little bit and they accepted it. They thought that it was worth taking and running with, and that's what they do every single day. It's funny, I've got an officer seat every day and I've got an engineer seat every day. And my one engineer, love him to death, he'll get in and he'll set up his GPS and I'll say, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Well, because I need to know where I'm going. That's your officer's job. Well, he's not an officer. He's your engineer, he's in your officer's seat. He's going to tell you where to go. He's going to tell you how to do it, where to park, where he expects you to be. Like I'm trying to build leaders out of just simple decisions. And hopefully when I say I'm done and I go enjoy my family, they carry that on with their own recipe. It's the same product.
I get that. I think that's what a lot of us try to do. We try...
Sorry, I rambled on.
No. It goes back to something Stephanie told me one time. It was like, planting a tree, that's going to give the shade you'll never sit under. You do the work now so the benefit happens later. We might not benefit for it, but that's not the purpose of doing it. It's doing it for the benefit of others later on.
So one of the questions I ask in my presentation, and I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to. I have three areas on my board, and I'll have them come up and fill out why they joined the fire service, what they hate about it, and what they love about it. And every single person that goes up there, out of a group of them, there's always someone that says, I'm here to help.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love to do. So I ask them, why do you want to help people? Tell me why. You know the why?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I don't know. And so at the end of it, they don't know. I said, but what do you love about the job? Well, I love the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the stability, the unique diversity. I love all this. Okay, so why'd you join the fire service? I don't know. Okay? But the unique thing of it is all of that adrenaline, energy that we love in the job. And a lot of the folks that I talk to, the byproduct of all their selfish, I mean, is it not wrong? It's selfish, right? We all love getting on the rig. We all love going to jobs. That's what we love, right?
Probably the most honest answer I heard at a hiring was because I want to be able to speed in a truck that makes noise and break stuff.
Thank you. So, with that statement, do you know what the byproduct of all of that is?
Give it to me.
Helping people.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of the excitement, all of the... I can't even describe it. It's so cool. I don't get it anymore, but it's so cool to see the huff and the puff and the excitement. They'll go running down the hallway out into the engine bay, and I'll be like, why are you running? Afterwards.
Man, I've been doing this almost 35 years. You better get out of my way or I'll run you over.
Right.
I mean, the tones drop off. I'm ready to go play.
Right. And in your mind, during that whole time, you have no idea why you joined the fire service.
Oh, I can tell you 100% why I did.
Right, but not while you're telling everybody to get out of your way, right?
Oh, no. I'm just going to fight fire.
There's one thing, one product, one byproduct out of all that energy, and that's helping people.
Yep.
So why can't we have conversations with people?
That's a very valid point. I think you're really onto something with that because it's one of the hardest things, especially now that, but...
Yeah, this is my TikTok time. No.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding.
But if we could get back to having regular conversations, I mean, I've sat in firehouses before, and people are texting each other back and forth, and they're sitting in the day room. I'm like, come on, guys, just talk.
Yes.
But it's getting better. I do see it. I see everything goes full circle, but I see communication starting to get better. I see guys wanting to train more than what they used to. Everybody, is not the recliner brigade anymore. There's guys wanting to get out and do stuff. With all the micro conferences that are coming out and people doing training everywhere, guys are getting together because they found out, hey, I'm really into the job. Maybe the guys on my shift ain't that into the job, but I can go over here and go do hood rat stuff with these guys for a weekend, and it's great. And now I've got a whole bunch of friends, and we go back and forth, and I might pick up some stuff. And one of the biggest things I say a lot of times is, I used to think, and everybody does, I don't care who you are, what rank you are, the problems I've got in my department. My department's got, because everybody feeds off the negative a lot of times. Look at these problems. And then you go to a conference and you talk to somebody else that's going on, you're like, man, we ain't got these problems. I'm going back where it's cool.
Yes.
And give you a different outlook.
We talked about this. I think you said Stephanie made, I can't remember what it was, about, well, how about this? It's not directed towards Stephanie, but the amount of opportunities that there are for everybody to get out of their circle. And I told you this earlier. If I send Bobby to mental health, Bobby knows that when Bobby comes back, Bobby's bringing mental health back to the firehouse. And that's Bobby's job. If Marco goes to Indianapolis to FDIC and he learns forcible entry, his job is to bring it back. And I told you earlier, like, I have a little bit of hope, but I really actually have a lot of confidence in the complacency that we used to see. And I think I can say that I've witnessed it, and it was more prominent 10 years ago. I think we're starting to see the curve. We're starting to be up on the up and up. And if that continues, and I told you this before, we're going to be contagious, we're going to be outrageous, and we're going to be successful. And the concern I have is managing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't actually teach our people, and I just learned this the other day, Okay, you're in Fire 1 and 2, you're done with that. You're going to take a couple months off. Now you're going into strategy and tactics. Now you're going into this. Now you're going into that. By the way, we have weekly training. We have shift training. We have shift agility training. We have all this. But we don't actually teach them how to manage all that and absorb all that, right? And so it's overwhelming for some folks. But that's what I love about all the different micro conferences that you talk about. It gives somebody an opportunity to go to someone's house. And I talked about Aunt Betty's house, right? To get that perspective. We don't ever go to mom or dad about our problems. Not mostly. We go talk to Aunt Betty about it, right? Well, Aunt Betty's FDIC or your hot classes. Because we get another opportunity because normally Aunt Betty has a different perspective, right?
Yep.
So the problem is we can't hide Aunt Betty's perspective from home. We got to bring Aunt Betty's perspective and make it fit and provide for everybody else.
But the thing, like you said, is when you send somebody somewhere, because you said you were really up for sending your people out for training.
Yes.
But when you send somebody there, you expect them to come back and teach us what you learned. That is a struggle for a lot of people that go and do this stuff because they get charged up, they get excited about what they learned. They want to come back and do it, but then a lot of times they feel like they're hitting a brick wall because they come back and they're full of energy. This new skill we learned is going to make things better. We don't want to, so I guess the question that is with you being a chief that is expecting these people to come back and teach things, how do you get the buy-in from your boots on the bay to absorb that stuff without any kind of pushback? That's a good one.
I don't. I don't get any pushback.
Oh.
We just bought a Quint a year ago, and we had people quit because of it. We don't need that. The same thing you just said. We're not doing that. We're not having this. What does it have anything to do with us? Let me ask you that. You get something new, you buy, I don't know, example, I tell everybody, all my guys have TL2 leather helmets. They're the lightest leather helmet in the market. I can get down a rabbit hole with that, but they all wear them. They all have great necks. They all have great support. If they decide they want to go out and look at another opportunity, just like we looked at TL2s, I want them to come back, and I want them to tell everybody that they possibly can to make sure that that's something that will benefit us, that benefits the people. Just like the Quint. The Quint, well, we didn't buy the Quint because it was for us. I mean, we got rid of some old apparatus, and it was fitting for what we were looking for. We wanted the pump capacity, the 1,500 GPMs, 500-gallon tank. It was replacing a 1982 Ford. And it was a big move. We bought it on Garage.com. There's a little promo for you. But we had people not happy. I'm not climbing that. If you don't want to climb it, don't climb it. Don't come. But just make sure you tell everybody else out there that you're not climbing up to the third or fourth story window to help them out. See, it's that easy.
Yeah.
And so if we eliminate our selfish reasons, even as a chief, it's not about me. It's not about each individual firefighter. It's about everybody else. It's who we're serving. 100%. There's no questions asked about it.
I like that. So, if you had a chance to write a message on the chalkboard for it to last forever and ever, amen, but it be a good piece of advice for people to go back and read, what would your message be?
That message is, if we would attack fire like we attack each other, we'd never lose a building.
Steve.
And I'm not sour, and I'm not timid. That's the truth. We, just like you asked me, how do I process somebody coming back? We just don't allow it. We don't allow it. I took my EMS chief. I took my EMS chief down to the National Fire Academy class, command, all the way across the board. It was great. It was ops, liaison. I don't know. I don't even remember. But I spent a week with him, and he's like, Before we even got down there, I don't know what I'm going to use this for. I just think it's pointless. I hope we're not wasting time or money. And so you're going to have a blast. He's been in the fire service for 30 years. He's just been a black hat, right? And I have seen him come back and show everybody something different and more improving to the community, the organization, and to each other.
I like it. It's definitely what you said's got a lot of value to it.
Have a
We
good
do
night, Rob.
we do need to spend a lot more time trying to support each other.
Yeah, that's
on,
what we
on,
got.
on all aspects, not just I don't agree with what this guy done at the firehouse or whatever. It's everything. We need to support each other all the way around.
Right.
Well, Chief, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate the conversation we've had. I hope that people listening actually get some got a couple of nuggets off of it. Everybody, thank you for listening in. If there's somebody you want me to get on the show, send me a message. Throw me a name. I'll try my best to get them on. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, keep learning, and we'll see you when the next person steps up to the chalkboard.